Well, Michigan State left for Cleveland on Wednesday and will have their first practice at Rocket Arena on Thursday. This is the 8th time under Izzo. Michigan State is a top 2 seed in the NCAA tournament. The Spartans have reached the Final Four in 5 of those previous 7 years. And it's hard to forget one of those times they didn't. Michigan State was a 2 seed in 2016 when it got upset in the first round by Middle Tennessee State. It's still a sore subject for Izzo, but he still uses it to prepare his guys.
With his experience being here, I mean, for forever, he's making sure that we don't come into this first game, you know, being a 2 seed, being comfortable. You know, like from here on out, we are not comfortable at all, no matter if it's a practice, if it's in a game, if it's on our way to Cleveland, we are not comfortable at all. We are making sure that we are mentally prepping every second until the game starts. And every day in practice, you hear him say, you know, win or go home or win the weekend, and that all starts with this first game.
Oh yeah, win the weekend is his saying this time of the year. And one thing that'll help carry Michigan State in this tournament is its depth, or as Tom Izzo refers to it as, strength in numbers. We'll talk about the secret sauce that has led MSU to winning the Big Ten championship by 3 games this season. That's next when March to Glory returns.
Well, you know, Doug Wojcik and I were talking about it one day, and he said we just got to have strength in our numbers. And I said, hey, that's kind of what the Warriors went through. You know, they have their big shirts on that. And the be different thing was something I did because I just didn't like the way the game of basketball was going. And I don't want it to be the same as everybody else. I want it different. And they bought into both. And yeah, we made it a big deal because I think it's very important, the strength in numbers.
One thing that has made the Michigan State men's basketball team unique this year is their depth. It's why Strength in Numbers is saying we have seen and heard a bunch this season. And it's really remarkable how balanced the team has been this year. In the 20-game Big Ten schedule, MSU had 8 different leading scorers, and not one player finished in the top 30 in the conference in scoring. Jaden Akins was Michigan State's leading scorer in the regular season with just under 13 points per game, and a total of 7 players averaged at least 7 points per game in the regular season.
We have scores at the point, you know, 2, 3, 4, or like 5. So like, you know, you gotta pick your poison with us.
The main thing is winning. We're happy for each other, happy for our brother. You know, maybe the next night might not be my night, but it could be Jaden night, Jake's night. So I'm always just happy for each other. And with our team, we're so deep, you don't know who night it's gonna be. That's why strength in numbers and trust each other.
Now, if you go back just over a month ago, Michigan State hit its low point of the season, with Izzo needing 1 win to become the all-time winningest coach in Big Ten history. The Spartans lost at home to Indiana on February 11th. It was MSU's only home loss of the season, and at the time, it was their 3rd loss in 4 games. The Hoosiers had lost 5 straight games before that victory in East Lansing, and it had many wondering if the Spartans would be able to win a Big Ten championship. After that night, Izzo took a lot of ownership for the loss.
We put ourselves in a hole now because we didn't do the job at home. You got to win your home games and try to split on the road, and we did not play well enough to win. And like I said, and I say this, so on my big night, I guess it's a big night, didn't coach well enough to win.
I don't think it was any pressure. I think we just came into the game a little too relaxed. I mean, it was a late game, I'm not making excuses, but I feel like we came in the game a little relaxed, a little calm, not the same energy that we came out with in the second half of Oregon. So I feel like we just weren't ready to play today.
And after the loss to Indiana, the Spartans were ready to play the rest of the way. They ended the regular season on a 7-game winning streak, with 5 of those wins coming against ranked opponents. It's what propelled MSU to winning its first Big Ten championship since 2020. The 7-game win streak was even a surprise to Izzo, especially because it started with 3 wins in 6 days.
Our job is to put our players in the best possible position to be successful. I did not feel we did that. That's why it was a low point for me, not because Indiana's a good team. It wasn't losing to Indiana. So then the next 7 games, did I think it would go like that? No. especially who we played, where we played them. I thought those players just bared down. I thought my staff in quick turnarounds did an unbelievable job.
And one player who has stepped up big time for MSU down the stretch is freshman Jace Richardson, who has turned into a go-to scorer for the Spartans. Coming up after the break, we'll have more with Richardson and how he's been able to make such a big impact when March to Glory returns.
I said he just knows how to play. You know, it's not like he's more athletic than you think. He's not his dad, but he is more athletic than you think. But he just kind of has a feel. He has a feel for the game. You know, he made that one bad turnover driving. He should have lobbed it up, and right away he came over and said, I should have lobbed. You know, he gets it.
I think just over the summer, just working with the guys. I mean, we've been working very hard, especially in the weight room. I feel like for me, I've been getting a lot stronger and just been building confidence playing over the summer in Spain and then in the exhibition games. So the confidence is kind of just growing in every single game and just building on it.
When the season first started for the Michigan State men's basketball team, head coach Tom Izzo didn't totally know what he had in freshman Jace Richardson. Fast forward a few months, and Richardson has become as consistent and efficient as they come. Since being inserted into the starting lineup, Richardson has scored in double figures in 11 straight games, with him scoring 20 or more points in 4 of those games. Richardson is second on the team in scoring at just over 11 points a game and was named to the All-Big Ten freshman team. He scored a career-high 29 points in his first collegiate start against Oregon back on February 8th, and he did it with his dad, Jason Richardson, and the rest of the 2000 National Championship team in the stands.
He was just really proud of me. I mean, that was the first time I seen that was the biggest grin I think I've ever seen him have. I just saw the video of him going crazy after one of the baskets. So it's a great moment to make my dad proud and have the game I had.
Before the game, Coach Izzo, he texted me and said, enjoy today, celebrating 25 years. And then he texted me, it's going to be cool, Jace's first start. And I was like, oh, wow. So it was actually pretty cool to see him out there to get a start.
Now, Jace didn't end up at Michigan State because his dad also played for the Spartans. His talent is what led to him being recruited by Izzo and his staff. And while Jace is leaving his own legacy with the program, he shared with artist Sharian McBroom earlier in the season how he does hope to follow in some of his dad's footsteps.
For many players, suiting up to play basketball for the Spartans already provides its own pressure. But when your dad is a former Michigan State basketball alum and former national champion Jason Richardson, the pressures could be even heavier. But for freshman Jace Richardson, seeing what his dad accomplished on the hardwood did nothing but motivate him.
Oh, most definitely. I think just my dad being in the NBA, him playing, and just me being always around it, watching it, and just being around him when he was going through it, kind of just like influenced me at a young age to go play.
I know when we talked to other people, they said, they start coming to games maybe during recruitment. Do you remember when you first came to a Michigan State game?
Yeah, it was the 10-year reunion of the national championship team. They were playing Florida. So I came in, I think I was 6, 7. It's the first time I got to experience the Breslin, first time I got to experience a game here.
How many more games did you get to come to over the years before, like, Michigan State became an option?
I went to the Final Four 2019, so that was, I think, my last time before I really started becoming a recruit. Being at that, there was me, in my mind, I'm like, there's no way, no, I don't want to play in this. Like, I want this to be me in like a couple years. So just being at that experience, it really shows how much I was really loving it.
How does it compare to what you thought Michigan State was going to be like to, I'm sure the hard work is another thing, but the excitement that it is to actually suit up and get to have fun out there with your brothers?
Oh, it's a lot different. You're growing up watching people playing the jersey, now you're finally in it. So it's definitely a different feel when you're playing out there and you're the one on the court making the plays, so it's super fun.
How would you assess your progress from when you came to your first practice and started here to where you are now, how you've progressed over the season?
I think I've physically and mentally progressed. I'm taking the game a lot more than I was, physically stronger, so I'm handling more pressure, especially in the Big Ten because it's one of the toughest conferences there.
And with his dad having a 14-year NBA career and his little brother molding his own basketball career, you could say this is a family of hoopers, and that includes Jace's mother, who he says has been very instrumental in his journey.
I mean, she also played it too, so I mean, everybody in the family loves it. They enjoy it. She coached me, so she's always been around it as well. She was definitely my toughest coach, for sure. But at the end of the day, it was all love. She was teaching me the game, honestly, because she played. And then just me being a point guard, she had to put a lot of trust in me, especially to run the offense. Yeah, she definitely pushed me to my limits, pushing me to get better every single day. I mean, there was a lot of days I'm like, man, she's on me hard today, but I already knew she was trying to get me better.
From playing for his mom to now playing for Hall of Fame coach Tom Izzo, Jay says there's one constant that always gets him through the tough challenges.
I mean, the one thing that's super successful is just work. Honestly, we work hard in practice. You got the extra work. You got to take care of your body. So it's just a lot of work and preparation that goes into it.
And a lot of people, you know, try to compare you to your dad. How have you worked to create your own lane for yourself and create your own legacy here at Michigan State?
For me, creating my own legacy, I think we just play really different ways of basketball. So for me, it's really not that hard to deviate from my dad because I feel like we do two totally different things out there.
If you had to pick one thing that you would like to have from your dad, what would that be? Because I grew up watching him in the NBA, and I know, like, you know, I know he had hops. Like, I know you get up there too.
I 100% need that. I think I'm the only boy in the family that doesn't jump that high. So my little brother jumps like 40 inches vert. He had a 45-inch vert. I think mine's like 39. So I definitely need a little bit more from them. We got a whole bunch of different guys in a whole bunch of different roles this year, especially with the younger guys. So we're kind of finding our spot, gelling together, and I think since Maui, we just taken off. We have 10, 11 guys that can play on any given night, and we can pick each other up if somebody's not having a great game. So that strength in numbers actually means something to us.
Now, Richardson gave a lot of teams in the Big Ten fits this season, especially rival Michigan, who's back in the NCAA tournament after missing the big dance the last 2 seasons. Coming up after the break, we'll talk more about the Wolverines and the success they have had in year 1 under head coach Dusty May. That's next on March to Glory.
Most people were introduced to you when Florida Atlantic made the run to the Final Four last year, but what you built there was much more than just one magical run. You guys won 60 games over the last 2 years. What's your message to Michigan fans about building a consistent winner here?
That we need all hands on deck. Everyone involved in this program, this university, can contribute in some way, whether it's coming to the games and supporting our players. But we have a lot of work to do, but we have everything that necessary to achieve all of our goals.
Just over a year ago, Juwan Howard was let go as the head coach of the Michigan men's basketball program, who had failed to make the NCAA tournament for a 2nd straight year. Dusty May was named head coach on March 23rd, and nearly a year later, the Wolverines are back in the big dance. Shortly after winning the Big Ten tournament championship on Sunday, the Wolverines received the 5 seed in the South region of the tournament and will be taking on UC San Diego in the first round on Thursday at 10 p.m. in Denver, Colorado. The Wolverines took a 3-game losing streak into the conference tournament and then rattled off 3 straight wins over ranked teams in Indianapolis. However, all 3 teams the Wolverines beat in the Big Ten tournament received a higher seed than them in the NCAA tournament.
I think we'll go out there with a little bit of extra edge. But this team's motivated intrinsically by the right things. So, like I said, we control what we can control. We're grateful to be a part of it. And matchups and all those things are much more important than what numbers next to your name.
Quick turnaround. Got to turn the page pretty quickly. We celebrated. I'm emotioned out. I had a lot of feelings after the game. And yeah, the tournament's an awesome experience. You only get to do it so often, and very excited for the opportunity.
And Dusty May became the first coach to win the Big Ten tournament in his first year. It's truly been impressive to see this program's turnaround since he has taken over. Michigan won 8 games all of last season and will enter this NCAA tournament with 25 wins. The Wolverines have 10 new players on their roster, and they have grown through the ups and the downs of this season.
We learned that no matter how many times we get knocked down or things aren't going well, we're able to stay the course, and that's a great life lesson. I mean, we're all faced with this adversity daily, weekly, and so they're learning that now in adverse situations. But more than anything else, these guys came from all different directions, and for them to sacrifice for each other and develop relationships and all that it takes. But it also shows that the work they were doing back in the summer is very important, because ultimately that's why we won today.
As for who Michigan will be playing on Thursday night, UC San Diego takes a 15-game winning streak into the NCAA tournament. And if there's a reason to think the Wolverines are on upset alert, it's because the Tritons force nearly 16 turnovers a game, which is the 8th best in the country. Meanwhile, Michigan turns the ball over 14 times a game, which is the worst in the Big Ten. If the Wolverines do get past UC San Diego and Yale upsets Texas A&M, Michigan star Danny Wolf could face his former team in the second round on Saturday. As for the Michigan women's basketball team, this is the 7th straight year the Wolverines are in the tournament. Michigan earned the 6th seed and will take on the winner of Wednesday's play-in game between 11 seeds Princeton and Iowa State on Friday in South Bend, Indiana. Michigan is 22-10 this season and reached the semifinals of the Big Ten tournament 2 weekends ago. Michigan and Michigan State split their meetings in the regular season, with the road team winning both of those games. And coming up after the break, we're going to focus on the Spartans, who's in the NCAA tournament for a 2nd straight year under head coach Robin Fralick. We'll have more on that when March to Glory returns.
You know, I think our mentality around it's different this year too. Like our kids, I think last year we were excited to be in it. This year we were like, we want a good seed. We want to play good basketball. So I think that's been the next step.
Welcome back. After a successful first year, which featured a trip to the NCAA tournament, Robin Fralick has led the Michigan State women's basketball team to the tournament for a 2nd straight year. The Spartans are a 7 seed and will take on Harvard on Saturday at 4:30 in Raleigh, North Carolina. The 7 seed is the highest MSU has earned since 2016, and when they take on Harvard, it'll be the team's first game in 16 days. MSU lost to Iowa in the Big Ten tournament on Thursday, March 6th. Since then, the team has been focused on themselves. And a big reason MSU received its highest seed in 9 years has to do with the play of Grace Van Slooten, who's the team's leading scorer at just over 15 points per game. Van Slooten transferred to MSU from Oregon this past offseason and will get to experience the tournament for the first time in her career. Earlier in the season, our Tyler Driesenga caught up with her to talk more about her decision to come to East Lansing.
She may be just a junior in college, but Grace Van Slooten's talent on the basketball court has taken her all around the country and the world. It started in high school, when Van Slooten made the decision before her senior year to transfer from Notre Dame Academy in her hometown of Toledo to IMG Academy in Florida, one of the most innovative and well-resourced high schools in the country for athletic development.
You know, you go there and you're working out 3 times a day, early mornings, late nights, and there's coaches always there with a really specific plan to see you succeed and help you get better. So, you know, I think just kind of being around like-minded people, you know, want to be around people who work hard, want to get better, really take basketball serious. So I think in the end that was the biggest decision.
It wouldn't be long before Van Slooten was on an international stage. In the summer after her senior year, she helped Team USA's U18 team win gold at the FIBA U18 Americas Championship in Argentina. Then, she was on the move again. Rated as one of the top 15 recruits in the country, she had plenty of college offers to choose from, but ultimately headed to the West Coast to play for Oregon.
I was kind of thrown in as a freshman. You know, I started right away. We had an injury and, you know, I was kind of thrown into the starting lineup, and, you know, I had to learn a lot on my feet really quickly. And I would say just learning the pace of college basketball, and then, you know, the physicality, just having to adapt to that right away. I think it really prepared me for my next years in college.
In the summer after her freshman year, her talents took her abroad for the 2nd time. She was selected to join USA Basketball's U19 Women's World Cup team, playing alongside some of the other best players her age, names like Hannah Hidalgo and Chloe Kitts. Van Slooten helped the country win gold once again, defeating Spain in Madrid in the championship game.
What are some of your best memories from those opportunities to, you know, kind of play around the world?
Yeah, I mean, I would say up there is definitely winning the 2 gold medals. I mean, that's a feeling indescribable. You know, you've worked so hard to get to that point, and to really receive that medal is just, a feeling that you can't describe, you can't put into words. So definitely up there with the best memories. And then I'd say just, playing different people from all around the world, getting to travel to Argentina and then Madrid, Spain, just a lot of fun. You get to play with some really good players, and it's just always really competitive.
VanSlooten returned to Eugene that fall for her sophomore year at Oregon. She averaged 15 points and 7 rebounds per game, earning all Pac-12 honorable mention. Then, one more time, she was on the move. VanSlooten entered the transfer portal and came to Michigan State.
And given your pedigree as a recruit and the 2 years, the numbers that you put up at Oregon, you could have gone a lot of places out of the transfer portal as well. What was it about Michigan State that you liked?
I came here and everybody seemed really connected. They all wanted to work hard. I watched a workout and it was really intense, and I think that's one of the things I was looking for. Is I really wanted to expand my game and just really get better in the off season, and I knew that if I came here I would have the best shot at doing that.
VanSlooten also feels the fast-paced style of play Coach Freilich has implemented fits her perfectly.
I think at Oregon, we started off that way, but as the years went along, we kind of slowed our play down, and that's not really what I was looking to do. So I love playing fast, I love getting out in transition, and that's exactly how Michigan State plays.
After all her travels, Michigan State brings VanSlooten much closer to where things all started in Toledo. It's allowed her parents to be there for every game. From Florida to Oregon, Argentina to Madrid, VanSlooten has used her talents on the basketball court to see the world. Now she's happy just to see her parents in the stands.
I think they made it to probably 4 games out to Oregon. They would come to our games that were in LA or Arizona, just easier places to get to. But I mean, they've been at every single game since I've been at Michigan State. So, just the difference is crazy, and I'm really grateful to be able to look over into the stands and see them there.
VanSlooten and Julia Ayrault will name to the All-Big Ten second team and will both be key if the Spartans want to advance to the second round of the NCAA tournament for the first time since 2019. Coming up next on March to Glory, we'll sit down with head coach Robin Freilich to discuss how MSU can get it done. We'll be right back after the break. Welcome back. Robin Freilich has talked all year about how the Big Ten is the best conference in women's college basketball, and we got proof of that on Selection Sunday with 12 of the 18 teams earning a bid to the tournament. That's the most the Big Ten has ever received in a single tournament. Part of it has to do with adding top 5 teams in UCLA and USC this offseason. MSU was tested throughout the Big Ten schedule and finished in 7th place with an 11-7 conference record. Our Haley Schoengart sat down with Freilich this week to talk more about her team and the next test that awaits them.
Second straight year your team is dancing. What was your initial reaction seeing MSU as a 7 seed facing Harvard?
Grateful. I think the tournament's really hard to make. It's a big deal to make the tournament. I think this year even is a little different than last year, is that we know what it means to make the tournament, and then I think you're also paying a little bit more attention to where you are and your matchup and the pathway. Well, I think anytime you get more experience in something, you understand it better. And I think as a team, we just understand what that means better, what that preparation looks like. I just think the experience piece.
Julia Ayrault talked about how this year you guys are trying to really make some noise. What has been your message to the team?
Well, we have 2 weeks. It's kind of an interesting time between when the Big Ten tournament ends and NCAA tournament starts. And one of the things we've been talking about is we call it win the wait. Can we be a team that gets a little bit better during this time? And I think it's hard to get a little bit better sometimes when you're playing 2 or 3 games a week. But this time we can. So we've really challenged our team, and let's get a little bit better.
What are some of those areas you've really been wanting to win over the last 2 weeks?
Taking better care of the basketball. I thought that really hurt us in our Big Ten tournament game. Doing a better job defensive rebounding and doing a better job defensively. We have been a team that's been able to turn people over, but we have to do that while getting stops and do a better job of limiting high field goal percentage for our opponent.
You're very familiar with Harvard head coach Carrie Moore. Back to your GA days at Western Michigan.
Yeah, we kind of, the small world of basketball. I was a GA. She was leading the nation in scoring. That was a long time ago. She was a really good player and done an excellent job at Harvard already. In her time there, she's really turned them around. I think this is their first NCAA tournament appearance. Was it since 2007? Yeah, I mean, that's amazing. So she was a heck of a player. She's a heck of a coach. Harmony Turner, it was the Ivy League Player of the Year. She's a dynamic scorer, and so is Carrie. And so the game has changed a lot since our Western Michigan days. But you know, she has one of the leading scorers in the country on her team, and they do a good job with her.
You mentioned her right there, Harmony Turner. What's your initial scout of Harvard?
Oh, she's really good. She's good. She's fast. She's a scorer. I think they just play. They're scrappy. They're tough. You know, watching the Ivy League games, it's good basketball. Obviously, she kind of leads the way for them, especially on the offensive and defensive end. She does a good job. She's real disruptive with getting steals. But they have a good team, so we'll need a good week of getting ready.
Yeah, you're going to need some strong defense. How are you going to rely on Julia and Grace and even your guards there in Halleck to really rise to the occasion?
Well, it's March Madness. I think you need everybody's best. You know, this time of the year, to be successful in the tournament, you need your best, and you need everybody's best. So we're going to have to guard her as a group. She's not their only good player, you know. And then defensively, they've been one of the best defensive teams in the league, so we're going to have to do a good job of really hunting for good shots.
What gives you confidence that your team is going to make some noise this year?
I've liked the way we've been practicing, so I'm kind of just staying in that small space, and I want us to put together another good week of practice. We've really cranked it up. I think our competitiveness in practice has been good. I think we've gotten back a little bit to more of preseason, where you're not worried about somebody else. But we'll use this week too.
Last year you guys kind of came out slow against North Carolina. How do you think that experience is going to benefit some of your players that got to go through that?
Well, I think it's a lesson learned. You can't do that. I mean, we lost by 3 and still gave ourselves a chance at the end of that game had we gotten some rebounds. But you can't, the teams are too good to claw back like that. So you learn that. I think as a staff we learned too, okay, what do these 2 weeks need to look like to prepare to have us really ready to play? And so, you know, I think the hope is that experience is helping us for this year.
We were talking off camera. Clara, your daughter, will be making the tournament journey. Yeah. How special is it to be able to bring your kids and your family along, and your staff's kids and family along?
It's what it's about. You know, I share all the time. It's, you know, I don't really necessarily believe in work-life balance, but I do believe in work-life integration. And I love that my family gets to share this. I mean, it was so cute last night. We got home, they're asking me 1,000 questions about every team, the bracket, their metrics. So they're all in. And I love, you know, something that's really special with Clara too is how much she loves the girls. I mean, she really, really, really looks up to them. She has all their NIL shirts. You know, we basically have a different player every day that she's wearing. So I'm mostly grateful for how they are wonderful to her.
And Freilich does know what it takes to win this time of the year, having won the Division II National Championship in 2013 and 2017 with Ashland University, and will lean on those experiences as she eyes her first Division I NCAA tournament win this week. And speaking of someone who knows how to win this time of the year, we're going to sit down with Mr. March, Tom Izzo himself, next on March to Glory.
Bring it on. Any and every day of the week, bring it on. And that doesn't mean I'm going to be better or worse than them. Those of you that probably had a bad hip, or get it done. I mean, I'm definitely healthier and happier now than I was even 3-4 years ago. I got a lot left in the tank. Whether they want me here, that's their decision. But as far as for me, I feel great. I thought that they decided to retire me right now.
That was Tom Izzo back at Media Day in October. With this being his 30th year as head coach at Michigan State, he made it known he is not slowing down anytime soon, and he backed it up this season as Michigan State won the Big Ten championship by 3 games. Before the team left for Cleveland today, we had a chance to talk with Izzo about getting back in the tournament one more time. 27 straight years now in the NCAA tournament. Not to age myself, but I was 1 the last time you guys didn't make it. I guess, do you at all have time to appreciate how long you guys have been able to make the NCAA tournament in a row?
Do you appreciate I'm doing an interview for you and you're insulting me?
No, or yes, I do appreciate it.
No, I'm just kidding, you know, and really I call it 27 and a half. So I say 28 because the Cassius year, unfortunately the COVID year we were in, and it's amazing, you know, and do I take the time to appreciate it? I don't. That's what retirement or death is for. You know, you think about things that you didn't do. But right now, sights are set on something else. But when I do talk to guys that, you know, Roy Williams of the world, or, you know, even coaches that are still coaching, I start realizing that, you know, we've done some pretty incredible things here. And it's because of our staff, and it's because of my players. I'm just kind of, I mean, I'm part of it, but not the biggest part.
Yeah, what is it about the program where you think that has been able to happen, the consistency of making it so many years in a row?
Well, I'm hoping that I'm still driving it, and I'm hoping that the former players are still addressing it and demanding it, and I'm hoping the current players want to play for the players that played before them, because that means everybody's on the same page, and what they've accomplished should be goals for others to accomplish or even go farther than. And you know, it's kind of interesting having Jace Richardson on the team. You know, his dad accomplished some pretty good things here. 2-year stint, 2 Final Fours, 2 Big Ten championships. I think 2 big tournament champions, 1 for sure, and a national championship. So, you know, he's lived it. Other guys have heard about it.
How about that hustle in the backcourt? Bamba almost got the steal. Richardson ahead. Yes.
Jace obviously has come on down the stretch for you guys. So how do you have to get him ready for this big moment coming up, or is he just sort of ready for it because of his dad's experience?
You know, I think his family situation helps him. He's never looked like a guy that's too big for the moment, which is pretty cool. But I don't know, you know, you get there that first day, you know, what the media onslaught is like, and then the pressure of one and done is a little different, you know, no matter how much you talk about it, when it actually happens, it's different. So for some reason, he's one of the rare guys I've had in the 30 years that I've done it, that I don't think if he plays good or bad, it'll be because the moment's too big. I think it's because he'll play good or bad.
When it comes to taking on Bryant, when you've looked over the film of them, you know, they rank top 20 in scoring. What is something that stands out or makes them a big challenge for this group?
Well, that's one. Fast pace. Got 4 guys that can get it and go with it. They have clones. They're a bunch of 6'6" to 6'8" guys with a 6'11" center, but I mean, very big team. Great offensive rebounding team. One of the things we've been good at over the years. They're averaging, I think, 13.5, 14 offensive rebounds, which is phenomenal. Very well coached. I know the coach, his dad, real well, and the son is a prodigy of him, and he's a very good coach. So they got all the ingredients, and you're sitting with a guy who's, you know, lost a 2-15 game. You're sitting with a guy who's watched a good friend of his lose a 1-16 game. Things have changed in the last 10 years, and no lead is safe, and no game is safe, and so I still won't sleep. I'm getting back to a deeper run in this tournament, and I'm going to die trying. And that's it.
Are you more motivated? A couple more guys. I mean, we've seen you after a lot of seasons. You seem a little bit more motivated at this point, you know, from the coaching line.
Yeah, I don't like the way I've given in to the fact that the world's changed, so I can blame it on that.
Last year, at the end of the season when it ended, you said in Charlotte, you're getting back to a deeper run in the tournament or you're going to die trying. I know that obviously doesn't just happen now. You're going to start die trying. That starts in the offseason, building the team, the chemistry. What is it about this group that can set them up and make a deep run in this tournament now?
Well, and you know, and I meant what I said, but it wasn't just the tournament. It was the year and the way we approach things. And I just thought a few things slipped a little bit. For some reasons were normal, and some reasons were, you know, we always ask players to look in the mirror. I ask my coaches and myself to look in the mirror. And so what does this team have? Well, it has depth. It has interchangeable parts where we can play big, we can play small. I think our guard play is getting better and better. You have to have good guard play. You usually have to be good defensively to advance in a tournament. We've been great defensively. You got to be able to shoot good free throws. It's been one of our strengths this year. So we have a lot of things to get there. The problem is they got to happen every single time you play, because our margin for error is less than most teams I've had, but we've sustained that most of the time. And the loss to Wisconsin, we came back and showed them moments on offense and defense that we could have maybe won the game, and hopefully we'll learn from that.
It's about winning the weekend, right?
Winning the weekend. That's the new motto now as you get here, and that puts even more pressure on you. You know, I first got the job, and that's all it was, man, if I could just win an NCAA game. And that time has passed.
Tip-off between Michigan State and Bryant is set for 10 p.m. on Friday night, and if Michigan State is able to win 2 games this weekend, we will have another March to Glory special for you next week. And that'll be it for this week's special. We hope to see you next week, so thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you later.